welcome to Networking with Nathaniel. I am back live. It's been a while. The hurricane caused us to have no power, have no internet, and then our little 3-week-old now, Hope, came and has been a blessing to our lives, but it has caused me to not be able to do these live. So we're back. I'm very excited to be back. I've been missing networking with Nathaniel and talking to really cool individuals. Networking with Nathaniel is a podcast I started a little over a year ago now, so I could just meet people that are doing cool things inside and outside of the real estate space, entrepreneurs and the like. Today, I have the pleasure of bringing on a good friend of mine, Grady Iverson. Grady's been in real estate for a long time now. He has pivoted, I think, earlier this year. We'll get into that, though. And bringing on a partner and creating a new business and all that. So I'm excited to chat with him about that. He's a married man, so ladies, the beard is amazing, but he is already taken. He's spoken for, and I think, he's got the Grady hat on. I'm excited to bring him on. Without further ado, how do I do that? It's been a little while. Grady, good to have you here, brother.
Why, hello there. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to chat with you and just share what I can.
Yeah, I appreciate you being here. I know we had actually, you were one of the episodes that I had recorded, and I almost used it last week and used a different one instead. And then I was like, you know what? Since I have it recorded, I needed somebody to come on this week and be my first live guest back, and somebody that I'm comfortable with, enjoy talking with, somebody that I know. And immediately I'm like, oh, let's see if Grady's available. So I appreciate you, being available and coming here. I know that you've been doing some traveling and getting this new business and stuff started. So would you kind of just lead us into that? What's that look like for you right now?
Yeah. So I joined up with a couple mentorships, one of which you were in the Growth Co. And ended up meeting my now business partner, Tiffany. And we came together because we had such a similar vision, and we got to meet each other in person, and everything just it meshed up really well. And so we ended up spending about, an hour a day here and there for 2 weeks, really getting together and talking through what it is that we envision having and what we want to build. And so through that, we're like, hey, this is where I'm at. In the future, I want to build this part and this part and this part. And it's like, oh, well, me too. Here's my vision I wrote out. And everything just really meshed together. And so we spent a lot of time working together to gain clarity so we know what exactly we're building together. And so from that, we created Bliss-based Ventures. And we're really, a big thing for the both of us is we want to help people out in different ways. And with real estate, you can really broaden your reach and help out more people on different aspects, from giving them a property to stay at to giving them, they can make interest on their money instead of sitting in the bank. And there's just so many different aspects, even a partnership, like, hey, I found a property. I don't know how to handle it. Will you come in and work with us to make sure we make this into a profitable venture? And we're able to do that. So we, at the heart of everything of what we built, is really about fostering a connection with families during challenging times, such as hospital, instances where recently I had a family member go through brain surgery, finding them a place to stay that had the things they needed for recovery afterwards. Kind of tough. So we're focused on building those places that families can come together through recovery, or maybe they have a member in the hospital, and it'll foster that connection and growth through everybody in that challenging time. With that, we also have a nonprofit that's tied to it's not the same business, it's a separate nonprofit to help get people into those homes that need it.
This is also with Tiffany?
Yep.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, so there's a couple things that I'd like to unpack here. When you first started mentioning, I want to help people, my mind immediately goes to underprivileged, like homeless, those types of people. And then you mentioned help people get better returns on their money, create partnerships. So it is a big circle of helping people that you are able to create here, which is awesome. So I'm glad that you kind of clarified that. Speaking of, um, Tiffany is here joining us right now.
Awesome. Yeah, it's one of those things that, I've had rental properties for over 7 years now,
Right.
long term, midterm, and short term. And I didn't fully understand the opportunities that come up within real estate on how many different hands that you can help, how many different people you can actually reach out to and can be a part of what it is you're doing. And so with this, right, we have a really strong vision and mission that we're building. And we're able to find people that, I mean, I have not met anyone yet that doesn't know someone that's gone through something medically wise that put them in this type of situation. And so being able to bring something that we can really grow and can help not just communities, not just people, but like a broad spectrum of people and communities and just aspects is pretty awesome.
Yeah, like when you're talking about getting, creating a niche like this where people are going through a tough situation, and you're creating I don't want to say an opportunity, but an environment for them to be able to come in and just focus on the healing aspect and taking care of their loved ones. That's amazing, right? And then you also are, mentioning being able to bring in somebody who wants to get a return on their money. So somebody who's going to bring money into the deal to be able to get, better than they would in the stock market or whatever. But also now you're providing this, like social impact kind of thing to the investor, where it's not just about getting the return on your money. It's about, hey, how can I help people out? Because you can go get a return on your money pretty much anywhere. But now what people are looking at is like, how can I also create an impact? So I love that you're being able to kind of make this all encompassing here. When you mentioned that, um, you know, somebody who's going through the situation, the house needs to have specific things to help them recover. What are those types of things? Like what would you be looking to add into a house that, you know, a typical midterm rental may not have?
I mean, there's simple things that you can add, such as grab handles next to the toilet and the showers, bathtub, that type of thing. Other items might be lazy boys that sit up and help people stand up. That type of thing, because depending on the type of surgery and recovery someone has to go through, they may not be able to bend at the waist, or, a lot of times you can't lift 5 pounds for 2-3 weeks or more. Right. And having things in the house that will help foster them moving around, the mobility aspect, so they can get up out of the chair more often, to go to the bathroom, to walk into a different room, or get off of the toilet without help or easier, simple things like that. And maybe it's a place that, they specialize more in that area in back or leg surgeries. Well, now we're thinking, hey, do we need to make sure that the doors are wide enough for a wheelchair? Is this wheelchair accessible? Can we do that to this property? And so there's little things like that, when it comes to renovation, if you're already renovating the property, to make it wheelchair accessible, it's not a super huge cost. But we don't always think about that in a home that maybe it's like a single family ranch style home.
Right.
Everything's on one floor and it's near a hospital, and you're able to do that with it. You might have more potential people that need something in those lines around that area.
Yeah. So this is something that a family or loved ones or friends, whatever, is able to come in and live in the house as well while this person is recovering.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a cool little niche where you're touching a lot of different aspects in people's lives like that. Are you focused on? I know you're going to be looking, or I'm assuming at least that you're going to be looking around hospitals. Are there certain cities that you already have picked out, or is it how does that all
Um,
look?
yes and no. So we're really focused near hospitals, those larger hospital trauma one centers,
Okay,
right? Those are the people that are taking worst case scenario surgeries. Hospitals will send different types of situations. If they get too far off of what they can handle, they send them to a trauma one center. Specialty centers that, maybe it's a cancer hospital, Mayo Clinic, maybe it's a brain hospital, or, they have a specialty that they really focus on, then we can build the home around that specialty.
okay,
So there's a lot of different ones out there, but we're very focused in Colorado right now.
okay,
But it doesn't stop us from an opportunity that will help further our vision and mission, right? So if we get, you know, there's other things that we can do on the co-living side, which is pretty cool. There are co-living homes for people going through, say you've gone through cancer treatment, but you have to go back every 6 months just for, in-depth blood draw, MRIs, a lot of different scans. There's actually a co-living model around that where all those people that are going through just the checkup, they're living in a home together, but you're not really looking at it from like when people think co-living like pad split, where we're packing in as many rooms as possible. You still want a good living area, kitchen, dining room, but you're able to open the house to a few more people, which is kind of neat.
Hmm. Yeah. You're with the pad split kind of co-living, you're typically removing a lot of the common areas because these are people that are just going and working maybe 2 jobs sometimes, and they just need a place to come sleep and make a meal and take their meal back to their room. It doesn't sound like that's the case here. You still want a place to come in and relax. Like they're not just going and working and coming back and playing PlayStation or whatever and going to
Yeah,
sleep.
it's
Yeah.
not a college dorm. We still want them to feel like they're at home, and to be able, because I believe that no matter what we're going through, especially when there's trauma that happens to us that we need to recover from. So maybe it happens to some people just based on what someone has said to you. It may take you a couple days to process and get through it. Well, when it comes to our bodies, right, we're getting medical treatment. We may be getting x-rays, our body scanned, we may be getting blood drawn, or, a minor surgery, or just something that might end up happening, right? We still want to have a place that can foster that healing process. And so you don't want it to seem like we're all jam packed in a sardine can.
Right.
You still want people to have their space, but still a good place to eat and to relax.
Yeah. Yeah. The positivity and the mental space, it all plays part in the healing process, right? Your mind does have a big effect on the body. So yeah, I
Yeah,
could see how just become kind of feeling like you're a number, so to speak, just another person in the house, like could hinder the overall healing process and the recovery, right? And that's not what
exactly.
we think. Uh, oh, AB. I wonder if that's Allison. Somebody, it's AB Dawson. It may be Allison. Just said, "Hey, what's up, guys?" Oh, and it made me lose my train of thought. Oh wait, no. So the co-living would still be this co-living potential would still be near these hospitals, right? These are people
Preferably,
that
yeah.
are, yeah, they're traveling because this specific the specific hospital is um, like expertise in the areas of surgery, right? It's not like I can just go to my local hospital necessarily. I have to travel for these ones. Am I kind of tracking there?
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, she said yes, it's Allison. Hey, Allison. Good to have you
All
here.
right.
Appreciate you being here. So, as far as finding properties, how are you guys going about finding these ones that are near these hospital systems that are, potential candidates for this type of, these types of surgeries and recoveries?
You know, that's a great question because we really started out because we want to help as many people as possible, right? We're like, hey, let's go through wholesalers. Let's help them get paid and help us move forward on our properties. And we just haven't been seeing deals that we can get that potential out of for the properties. So we're still working with wholesalers,
Hmm.
but we're looking through Zillow, through MLS, through pretty much anytime, anywhere we can find a property for sale by owner, whatever it is, and breaking it down and working how we can make this work.
And when you say we are, like literally you and Tiffany are going on the MLS and looking at these properties
Yep.
and making calls. Okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Uh, how many how many cities or hospitals have you identified as good candidates for this?
There's, I can't remember them all off the top of my head. Right now, the big cities that I can think of is like Denver, Colorado, because I've really been focused in Colorado lately. Um, there's a good trauma one center in Grand Junction, Colorado Springs. Then Phoenix, Arizona has some amazing hospitals in that area. Uh, Dallas, Texas has a few. They're all over. It's
Yeah.
just finding the ones that you can also communicate with the hospital to let them know what you're doing is the fun part, right? Because I'm calling up hospitals too sometimes and just saying, hey, is this something that you guys do? Do you have recommendations for people that come in? Can you point me in a direction of someone that may be doing something similar to see how we can work together?
Okay. Yeah, interesting. This is like I don't know, not a PR person or an HR person,
Kind of like a PR person,
but yeah, interesting.
but
And are you finding that this type of thing is typically already set up?
I'm not. There is things like Ronald McDonald Housing and other nonprofits out there to help with specific age groups and type of people. And a lot of them are looking for more homes that they can utilize. But it's, I'm not finding very many people that are really looking at, hey, we want to make a place that not just can someone come to recover, but also help foster that family connection and families can come stay, right? Or whoever they want specifically. Like, because maybe it's a friend or family member that they've gone through, one of their kids has a problem. They're like, okay, we have to go get cancer treatment, or maybe it's brain surgery, or and I'm touching on that because I have some family friends that have gone through something like that, and all they can afford is getting just the mom to go out with the kid, and they have a few other kids at home with the dad
Mm.
because they can't afford to keep going back for all the surgeries and the checkups. It's like, well, how can we help them in that situation? Because that's tough on a family. You're going, just one parent is going with the kid to deal with worst case scenario situation.
Right.
And no parent wants to go through that. I have
Right.
no doubt that no parent wants to go through that.
No.
But going through it alone has got to be even tougher. So why can't we have a place for them that not only can they go to that home, but they can reach out and see if there's a way to get more funding or to get help to bring the whole family together through that process.
I love it. I have a sense of your faith being very connected into this, and I don't want to jump to that yet. Just a little teaser for those that are listening right now, live or in the future. I wanted to take a step back though and talk about your meeting Tiffany and how the partnership came about, because I know there's a lot of people out there that hear, squat up and get into partnerships and do these types of things, but don't understand how to kind of go about asking the right questions, getting in front of the right people that can complement and not compete with what you're working on, your skill set and yourself. So I know that you guys went through the Growth Co together, correct? This was
Yep.
Growth Co
Correct.
5.0, I think. 5.0, whatever it was. And then we all met at Unleash and Invest. And so how did you kind of start the conversation? And then how did you, because you had mentioned that you did like hour-long phone calls for a couple of weeks. Like, what kind of things did you talk about? What kind of questions did you guys ask each other to realize, like, yeah, this is something that we can move forward with, and we're, our visions and our goals and our skill sets are complementary of each other?
Yeah, that is a great question. And, for us, we went through the Growth Co together. And so we saw each other in the Zooms and talked a little bit here and there. And then we met at the Unleash and Invest event. And we didn't get to talk very much at that because, we were going to saying hi to everyone, right?
Yeah.
And, afterwards, for me, it was kind of in the back of my head, like, man, I really had this connection with, even though we only talked a few times with Tiff, I think that would be someone that's awesome to partner with. I didn't follow through with it. She reached out to me and was like, Grady, there's something that's been on my mind. Really been thinking about a partnership with you. I'm like, I'm sitting there. I'm like, thank you, Lord. This is awesome. Like, I need this. This is what I've been praying for. And then, and so she went on to explain kind of how she's feeling about it and this and that. And I'm like, trying to play it cool without seeming too excited, right? Because I don't want to scare her away.
Right.
And so then it was like, yeah, I'm really interested in this. But one thing that I want to make sure before we get into a partnership in business together, that we really have an understanding of what each other wants to build, where we want to go, and the places that we're working towards, right? And where our mind's at. And so we actually, I don't know how many times we met up through Zoom, and we just had, the Zoom face-to-face conversations about what we're doing, where we see each other going. And it's like, hey, you know what? Let's put this on paper and let's make sure that we get this wrote out so we both understand it and see where we're going. And so we ended up talking through, a lot of what we want to do was help people going through these type of medical situations that, we both have had our own personal experience through something along the sorts or family experience that really put this on our hearts and led us to, hey, how can we make a change, and brought us to this. So we started talking about, hey, what are your core values? What are the core values we want to see in the business? What is it that you believe in? That brought us to coming up with our little hiccup acronym for our core values, which is honesty, integrity, collaboration, community, unyielding, and putting people first. And we created a 10-page document, 9 or 10-page document of our vision, our mission, where we're going, some goals, and, looking at how we want to collaborate with people, what kind of businesses, how we want to operate this on a financial level, which for me, when it comes to paperwork and numbers, like I can underwrite a property. I love that kind of stuff. But when it comes to keeping track of my money and all that kind of stuff, luckily I've got an awesome wife to help me out there. And now within business, I've got Tiffany, who's amazing at understanding how all that works.
Okay.
And so we really were able to take, hey, I may not know everything that I'm good at or what I can bring to the table, but here's what I know my strengths are and where I can be of value. And we sat and we asked each other those types of questions. Hey, what is it that you need? Where are you struggling right now? how can we work together to get the most out of each other and really help this business get moving?
Yeah. That's those are great tips here. Like a partnership is not something that you just jump right into. You guys spent a lot of time inside the growth co, did not, not too much at Unleash and Invest, but then a lot of time on Zooms, kind of getting to know each other and making sure that the skill sets are being complementary is a big factor, but making sure that like this is the direction I'm heading and making sure that they're not trying to head in this direction, because that's not going to be a partnership that's going to last, right? You guys had both had a vision. I'm wondering, as far as the what do we call this uh, niche that you guys have? Is there a like hospital care
I
rentals or
I don't even know if I'd call it anything yet.
okay?
So it's, the really awesome part about it is that it doesn't stop us from going after a good opportunity in other places, as long as it can benefit the overall growth of Bliss Space. That's our main goal, right? We want to get this business up and running so we can help out those people.
Right.
And, I guess if you wanted to call it a niche, it'd be some sort of medical, I don't know if I want to say assistance or housing.
Recovery housing, medical.
Yeah.
Recovery. What I was is in either of your minds, was this something that was already there, or is this something that kind of just came up through the conversations that you were having, like, oh yeah, that's what we should do?
It was already there.
Okay.
I mean, I can only speak a little bit for Tip,
Right. Yeah.
but this, for both of us, it was like a no-brainer on the partnership when we put it on paper and started talking through it, because both of us were like, hey, we want to help out families through medical situations. This is where I see it. This is where I see it. And it really, for me, it built on each other. And it wasn't like something that, hey, I have to give up this part of my dream for now to focus on this. It was, how do we make our dreams mesh? And there really wasn't much struggle for that. It was kind of like the puzzle pieces just fit perfectly. For me, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it. It seems like that you guys were able to, I don't want to use the word hash it out, but
well, that's what it was, right?
Yeah. You mentioned that you mentioned that one of her strong points is the financial side of things and understanding the ins and the outs, how things are coming into the business and what's going out of the business. From your standpoint, what are some, you mentioned some of the, you mentioned that you know some of your strengths, but what are some of those strengths?
For me, I love motivating people. I love talking to people. I enjoy being a part, I don't want to say being a part of the conversation, but being a part of somebody's growth. And I'm not scared to put myself out there and make myself look silly, because I know who I am, and I'm a silly person. I like doing the fun thing and making people smile and laugh. And, so that for me was a big, strong point. And I like connecting with people and finding that connection in our lives, no matter what someone else believes, no matter what I believe. Like, we're all a giant family here on earth, right? And so if I can find a way to go out and help somebody else, that's what I enjoy doing. I like being that person in the background that's helping somebody either move up to the next level, or maybe it's just get out of a position that they're in, that, a sticky situation. Maybe they just need uplifting for that moment, and I'm able to offer that. Then I want to do it.
All of this is going to be our segue here. I'm going to kind of butcher it a little bit, but I think that it came from your faith and your walk. When we recorded the video months ago now, you said something along the lines of like, understand that you're worthy and everything that's coming your way, you deserve it. And yeah, does this ring a bell? Is this something?
It does.
Yeah. You're inspiring to me in that way, that you are able to lead with your faith and let that guide you. Um, how has that played into the partnership? How has that played into the Bliss base? Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I I have a very strong faith, and it's, this is mine, and I have my own relationship with God, Jesus, Lord, whatever someone wants to call it, right? And through that, I really, at the heart of everything that I do, I want to be true to who I am and who, my belief God created me to be. And that's something that I'm going to constantly be working towards. And I'm not perfect at all. And, within, for me personally, right, everything I look at, I, I attempt, it doesn't happen all the time, but I attempt to see how can I be the best of who I am in that moment, to just be there for someone as, God is there for me. The grace that he's shown me, no matter what I do, he's there. And I've had my own personal experiences that really built up my faith. And how can I do that for others? Now, within Bliss Space, I've been through my own, medical stuff. And this is something that was God put on my heart, and that's been on my heart for a while. And I just never knew how to really fulfill that passion that's there until I found real estate. And then it really got clear within Tiffany, with, coming together with her on Bliss Space, and everything just was like, whatever you want to call it, the light shined down, and weight off my shoulders. I lost a 50-pound backpack. And so it's hard for me to articulate exactly how it all ties in, because I do my best to try and make it a daily thing for me, that, it doesn't matter if someone knows what I believe. I still am going to come forward to them with the grace and humility that's shown to me by my higher power.
Yeah, what does your daily walk in this? Yeah, that's not exactly how I would phrase this, but like, what is a daily habit that you do to continue to ingrain that for you?
I try to do my best to read the Bible, but I'm pretty horrible at it. For me, it's more the prayer and meditation.
Okay.
I do my best to find, and it's not every day. Sometimes it doesn't happen for a week, but I do my best to implement that, and remember to implement a 15-minute, even if it's a prayer and meditation, to sit down. And one thing I do every day, I guess this does tie into it, is in the morning when I wake up, when I'm sitting in bed, I'll take a few minutes before I get out of bed, and it's just spending that time. I'm thanking God for the things that I have for the day ahead, for my amazing wife that I've got, for, our 2 dogs and a cat, the family that I've built within real estate and Growth Co., for my business partner, and just for the little things. And so when something happens that benefits me, that's good for me, or that I see moving forward, it's, I do my best to take a second and, thank God for that opportunity, for what happened. If something bad happened, or, like I'm struggling in an area, to say it's find a property, or say have a conversation with someone that's a little more tough, I do my best to thank God in that situation for the struggle, because I know that struggle is meant to build me up in a way that I'm not at yet. Maybe I'm going to learn something from it. I'm probably going to do something that I shouldn't through that conversation or say something I'm not supposed to, but I get to learn from that.
Yeah.
And, you know, little things like going when I go to the grocery store, I go get coffee, you know, every time I pay, I try to take a second, or I don't try, I do take a second, and if I'm holding my credit card, that's, you know, hey, Lord, thank you for providing me with the means to get this.
Yeah, I love that. It's easy for us to be grateful for the things that we have in a good way. It's difficult for us to be grateful for the difficulties, the challenges that we face. But like you said, those are the ones that are going to lead us to where he wants us to go. I want to grab it real quick, so I'll be right back. Hold on.
All
I have
right.
something.
Oh, man. You know, it always gets exciting when Nathan's got to run. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and listening and putting up with us. Appreciate it.
It's on my nightstand right behind the wall. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you've seen this before.
Our
But
daily bread.
Yeah, you mentioned that the reading of the Bible is a challenge, right? Doing it daily. They take a little Bible verse, it's one a day, and you can see I'm this far into it right now. I just fold the thing out so it's easy to. It takes a little Bible verse, they tell you a little story about it, and then how that ties into the verse. These are free.
Awesome.
If you go to ourdailybread.org, they'll send them to you in the mail.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's a cool little thing that has changed my walk a little bit, not a little bit, a lot, because now I'm not only getting the verses, but I'm also getting other people's perspectives and how a story or a little anecdote kind of ties into the verse and how you can apply it. And then it asks you a little question. Hey, how are you? Oh yeah, see, Angel says that's it's been around since I was a kid. Yeah, it's amazing. I ended up, if you donate to them or if you pay them, they'll give you a month version instead of the 3-month version. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to add them to our donation list. I don't know who
awesome.
booted, but yeah. So,
And I mean, kind of coming back to what we were talking about, it doesn't happen through every struggle that I have the strength to even turn around and say that. I mean, I've spent my time sitting in a corner, balled up, crying and cursing out, like, why am I in this situation? What did I do? La-di-da-di-da. But at the same time, after getting through everything, it's like, oh, why did I let myself get to that position? Maybe that's what I needed at that time to really push through that struggle and get to where I am now. But I'm not perfect. And I definitely, like, there's a lot of things out there I'm working to improve on, and I need to continue to improve on. So,
yeah, it's now that you're saying, I'm like thinking, since our daughter's been here, I've had my challenges with her. She's doing better the past couple days, but there was about a week or so there where it seemed like every time I picked her up, she was just screaming in my head, like, "What is going on?" And it took a couple days, but then at the end of the day, I'm like, you know, just sitting there in bed, like you're saying, you know, thank you for giving me patience today to get through that. And then, like, literally the next day, she was screaming, calm down. Oh, wow. You know, this challenge that he put in front of me has been teaching me something. Like, let me calm myself, be a little bit more patient here now. She's a baby. They scream, right? And then now, thank you for giving me patience to be able to get through that. Thank you for like giving me the win today, that she calmed down and I was able to like sit there and cuddle with her and she wasn't just like screaming, crawling all over me. So, yeah, this is, like you're saying, it's taking the thoughts out of my head and you're just saying them now. Yeah. So I love it. I appreciate you.
awesome.
We're kind of coming towards the end of our hour here, and I want to make sure we give ourselves plenty of time for these last few questions. Before I get to the deep stuff, not that it's deep this whole time. Yeah. Do you have are there any books, podcasts, documentaries, anything that's inspired you, move the needle in your business, in your life? I mean, okay, the Bible. We'll just say that one. You're not allowed to use the Bible.
You know, when I read it and I
Yeah,
can
you're
pull
right.
something out of it,
Yeah.
then yes, the Bible.
Yeah.
But one book, Getting Things Done by David Allen,
Okay.
that was really kind of helped me with getting myself organized and everything that's flying around my brain at 1,000 miles per hour, kind of on paper and organized in the process to do it and move forward.
Okay.
That was I enjoyed the book. I think my wife scored it for me because my office was a mess and she's like, you need to organize and here's your sign. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then The One Thing, that's a great book. I've
Yeah.
probably read that 5 or 6 times now. And every time I read it, I pull something else out that, I mean, it really drives the getting to the center of what's going to help move you forward today, or maybe it's in this moment or whatever you're going through, right? And then what's another one? Think and Grow Rich I really enjoy that book.
Yeah. There's a
And
lot in that one.
there's one more I got to look on my phone really quick that can't remember the title of it, but I've really Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker.
That one I don't think has come up before. The first one you
That
said
one,
hasn't either, though. So you're in rare air that you're mentioning books that haven't popped up on this already.
that one I really enjoy, and I listen to about every other month because there's different. I pick something new up each time I listen to it,
Yeah.
and maybe it's just an area of focus or something I needed clarity on in that moment, that the whatever situation I'm going through, that helps me move forward through that.
Yeah, that's something that Jesse Stanton, our coach, mentor, friend, said when I first joined the Growth Co. Is like, I'm going to be saying things to you, and they might not hit you until 6, 10, 12 weeks later, because you have to have gone through some stuff for it to make sense to you. So I like that you're saying that about like revisiting books, because maybe I read or heard something in that book that, like, that's interesting, but it doesn't ring to me yet because I haven't experienced this other thing, or I'm not in the situation where it makes sense. So finding those books that speak to you and then going back and re-listening to them. I have a friend that does Think and Grow Rich every year. On January 1st, he starts it, and he says he picks up something. He's been doing it for like 10 years now. He picks up something new every time. And so I'm terrible at that. I'm not good at going back and rereading books. I'm like, oh, okay, I got that one. Let's go on to the next one. So I think
Yeah.
that going to the one thing, though, is a very powerful tool, I guess. Is that a lot of the times, especially as entrepreneurs, but just humans in general, like, we see all these things that we can do, and like, oh, if I do that, it'll help. If I do this, it'll help. But like, what's the one thing that I can focus on today, tomorrow, this week, this month, that's actually going to move my needle, right? I like to use our health, because that's something that everybody can kind of wrap their heads around. Is that, like, I want to lose 10 pounds. All right, well, what's one thing that I can do today to help me get to that goal? It may be going out and walking. It might be cutting soda out of our diet, or whatever, cake at night, things. What's the one thing that I can do today and focus on that's going to help me move the needle in that? So I really like The One Thing. That's a super powerful book. I'm going to check out this Getting Things Done, because with the chaos that's going on right now, I need a little bit of
Yeah.
tips. Yeah. As far as the kind of deeper questions go, you chose
Oh,
you chose a couple here, so I'm gonna. We have a little bit of time, depending on how long your answer is and whatever follow-on questions I have for you. Um, oh shoot, I forget which one you wanted to lead with.
Just go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, out of so far, you're still a young man, but there are things that you've learned throughout this life, lessons that you've learned. What's the biggest lesson that you've taken away so far, and how did you learn it? How did you come about learning this lesson?
You know, approaching each situation and person with grace and humility, no matter what they've done to me or I've done to them. Because I can only perceive what's happening in a moment based on what I'm picking up in that, either that conversation or situation or whatever it is, maybe fighting with my brothers, right, growing up, or a family member, or having an argument with a coworker. And just because we have differences and we're perceiving that whole situation from a different point of view doesn't mean that we still can't be friends. It doesn't mean that I need to change my love for them or the way that I interact with them. And being able to come back to that same person after that situation, say they've wronged me somehow, and coming back to them and being able to just be me and who I am and not let it affect my interaction with them or change how I interact with them. And that, through school, through watching my parents and my grandmother, who have the most amount of grace I've ever seen towards people. Like, it's hard to even put it into words for me. But then seeing those family members and friends have that same sort of grace towards me when I either lied to them or did something that I wasn't supposed to, or, just did something bad, and them to come back and still treat me with the respect and love and grace, and not judge me based off that one moment of weakness, or maybe I just didn't understand what was going on. Yeah. And be able to spend the time with me to say, hey, we need clarity on this area. That was pretty cool. And like, me and my brothers could, we'll be fighting with each other and throwing fisticuffs and just throwing stuff at each other, and come back an hour later and we're best friends.
Yeah.
We're back to being brothers.
That's a brothers.
So going through that kind of stuff was really helped me build that. And I didn't truly understand it until just a few years ago. So it took me a while to really see and understand that, hey, it doesn't matter. Everyone still deserves that grace and love, but you still can go into that interaction with a little more security, or, keeping yourself safe, but don't change how you treat them.
Right. Yeah. It's relative.
Yeah.
Like what you're saying couldn't come at a better time, because we just happened to have an election yesterday, and typically people are at odds with each other when this is happening. And so whether you like who won or you didn't like who won, the people on the other side of the aisle are still humans. They're still your brothers and sisters, right? And we still need to be treating each other with love and respect, even if we can disagree about whatever the hot button issue is right now.
Exactly. I mean, everybody, I can't fully understand your perception of even this conversation that we're having, because I have not gone through all the instances that you have. I have a totally different personality. I'm a different person. I grew up differently. I have different experiences that have all shaped how I perceive this moment, right? and understanding that everyone is perceiving that moment that you're in totally differently that's around you, even with my wife or family members or friends, really helped me to be able to stop myself and say, hey, yeah, I don't agree with what you're saying. What am I missing here that I'm not perceiving the same as you are? Is there a different aspect that I'm not looking at? And which then comes back to, being able to utilize that within real estate, right? Because we're looking at deals every day, we're talking to people, we're building this network and communication, and being able to look at a deal that someone sends over and it's like, hey, here's what I'm seeing. This is a deal. This is a great deal. And it's like, well, from my perspective, it's not even close to a deal, and here's why.
Right.
Does this help you understand that?
Hopefully they're open-hearted and open-minded to be able to receive that. I'm glad that you brought that back up right now, because as we're wrapping up, I wanted to ask, what are you guys, you and Tiffany, struggling with? What are you needing right now? It sounds like deals. And anybody that's out there listening, yeah, how can they help you out? How can they help you get you to this mission that you guys are on?
Deals and money, right? That's the thing every quote unquote investor needs, is deals and money. But we're growing our family within Bliss Space. So when it does come to deals and money, if we can find people that can share in the passion and want to build something that has that outreach and is doing that, then even better.
I love it. How? What's the best way for people to connect with you? What's the best way for people to bring you deals if they have them, and then just get more inspiration from you?
You can reach out to me on Facebook, Grady Iverson. There's the name right there. Yeah. invest@blissbase.net is an email.
Oh, invest. Okay. At blissbase.net.
Or you can just type in Grady, Gradey, at blissbase.net, and I'll get both of those.
Okay. The Facebook should be already linked for anybody in the description of the YouTube video here. So if you want to connect with Grady through Facebook, I believe, do you have an Instagram as well?
I do.
Okay, yeah, I believe the Instagram is on there as well. I wrote myself a note here to go and add those emails to the description as well. So anybody in the future should be able to kind of just go on there and click that to be able to send you an email. Any parting words for anybody out there before I boot you out of here?
That we'll go with the same thing as last time. Like, we're all struggling through different situations, and one of the biggest things that I struggled with was feeling worthy of what's coming, feeling worthy of building this business. And we all come from different backgrounds. We all have different experiences. Everything's led up to these things that are coming to us. And instead of questioning whether or not I deserve this or I earned this, I want everyone to know that you're worthy of it. You're worthy of the success. You're worthy of the good things that are coming. And those bad things that come throughout, you're not worthy of those, but those are building you up to the person that you can be worthy of bigger and better things to come. And so just remembering that I struggle with it every day, remembering that I'm worthy and that you are worthy as well for your success. You're worthy of your success, and you're worthy of all the good things that have come and that are to come to you.
It did. Because I knew it was coming this time, it didn't get me teary-eyed like the last time. But the first time you said that, it got me teary-eyed, because it also, I think it was as we were kind of getting this momentum in our business, like, do I deserve this? And it just hit Like, okay, yeah, you got me, buddy. I appreciate you being here. Hang tight. I want to chat with you for a little bit afterwards. I'm going to give you the boot here. Thank you, everybody, for being here with us live. We're back here live. We do this every Wednesday at noon Eastern time. That was Grady. Grady, as you may have found right there, is a very well thought out man. I'm very excited to watch him grow, and I think we should all keep tabs on what he and Tiffany are doing in this medical recovery space. I think it's a really cool opportunity that they're going to be providing for people that are in need of this type of thing. If you are struggling or needing help moving your needle in your business, I have a Zoom that I do on Thursdays at noon Eastern time called Helping Hands Hour. If you leave a HHH or Helping Hands Hour comment on this video, I will make sure to get you the link for that. As always, it's a pleasure. I love you guys all for being here. I will see you next week.